handstand walking and kipping handstand push-ups. I'll cover these both together. They're both relatively easy to do, especially if you're doing the other drills properly and thoroughly and focusing on the handstand holding and the presses to headstand. So with the handstand walking, once you're doing your kick-ups and doing the forward rolls out of them and stuff like that, you'll notice that by the time you do the handstand drills, as you do them, most people will start getting to the point here, and this starts happening. I don't think I've ever seen anybody who just holds and can't take a step. And so as you're developing your drills, and once you can hold it in place, just let yourself take a step, and then a second step, and a third step. And especially if you start working towards that turnaround, it's the same thing, you just don't turn, you walk out of it. So it becomes kind of a redundant drill, and the only real practice from here on is, once you become good at it, is just go for distance, and if you can turn, you can go for distance, get to the cone, and come back. And as you get better as far as arching and as far as what your feet are doing, I prefer to start and learn how to both do it with feet together, feet apart, and there's all kinds of different ways you can do it. So as we start to walk, feet are together, we just stop. Walking little by little. If your feet are bending and it's more like that kick over scorpion style, endurance-wise, that usually seems to be a little bit easier. It puts some pressure on your lower back, but it's not, I've never seen it being really a problem or anything like that. And by, I mean this bad. It's kind of like this. And if it's putting a lot of pressure on your back, then focus on keeping it tight. Do some ab exercises, squeeze your butt, squeeze your abs, and that'll get you a little more vertical and it'll take that pressure off. I find also that works for me is kind of kicking your feet a little bit. And if I'm goofing around, if I'm trying to do like a shorter distance real quick, that seems to work. So it kind of goes like this. And so that works pretty well. As you get better, we can set up a cone or something like that and try turning around it. So this way, we get a little more controlled in the fatigue state. So this plate was closer, but you can start trying to go. And you can just walk around something as an improved challenge. So that's one thing. If you want to mess around with it, you can even try to learn how to walk backwards on your hands. And so we just kind of under kick. As you get better, it becomes fun. And as you do your strict drills, which are a little mentally more challenging because they'll take longer, even though you can see that the handstand walking is happening. You're kicking up and the hands are moving. But we fight it and we stay in place and we do it right. By the time we can handstand walk, it's pretty easy and it becomes quite a lot of fun. Kipping handstand push-ups. So this one, it's kind of a loaded topic, the kipping handstand push-up, because the handstand itself is already sometimes arguable with it. Well, why do we want to do handstands? We don't do it in real life, and it's not really worth the risk. And yeah, possibly. If you do things smart and safely, it'd be like saying, don't use power tools because you can hurt yourself. Well, don't drive a car because you can hurt yourself. I mean, there's a risk of everything. I mean, don't open up to people because people will take advantage of you or something like that. It's just, I mean, risks are risk, life is life. But anyway, so the kipping handstand push-up. The way we like to do it is, if you can't do this strict to whatever range of motion you're doing, then you can not kip. And whenever I program workouts, I also make sure that the first round, 2, 3, 5, whatever the workout kind of is, that it'll be strict handstand push-ups. This way, there's always some kind of practice going on, even if people don't necessarily do extra practice outside of the class or anything like that. There's always an element of it in the workout. So if we're doing a workout like Holloman with 1 power clean, 3 handstand push-ups, and 5 wall balls, and it's 30 rounds for time, I'll say, let's do the first 5 or 10 rounds strict. So it's 15 to 30. That's the range I usually like, between 10 and 30 first handstand push-ups as strict. And then if I want to allow kipping after that, that's what we're gonna do. But so what happens is we get a stack of plates. These are like 5-pound little rubber bumper plates. And we get a bit of a stack. And that's how we introduce it in the strict handstand push-ups. Get an ab mat on top of them, kick up, and then just make sure that we can do pretty easy strict ones from here. And so then we can set on our head. And so what happens here, you start lowering your knees. Now some people put the butt on the wall. I personally prefer not to. But the one thing to watch out for is don't put your feet flat on the wall. We want the heels on the wall or heels off. And so we kind of balance in this position. And you can just extend here a couple times without even kicking. And then just kick a bit. And that's all that really is to it. Now, does this put pressure on the neck? And is it potentially more dangerous than the potential benefits of it? Yeah, absolutely. That's the reason why I kind of wasn't even planning on showing it. But it came up and it happened, so I'll go ahead and go over it. But something like this is really easy. It can be even really even higher than that. Make it as easy as possible. And the idea behind that kip too, we want to not toe the wall and slide the foot flat on the wall. We want just the heel in contact or heel just off. Because it's like if we're trying to stomp the floor, we want to do it this way. And that's all really that happens there. It's like a stomp, but it's an invert, so everything gets really kind of awkward. But if you're doing the handstand drills, then it's relatively easy to do. And that's what we do. And so once we kind of make sure that these are done, can be done really easy in a strict fashion. So at that point, find the set. Butt on the wall or not is up to you. You can always do also one leg kick. It's not as powerful, but it's a little bit easier to execute. Or the full one, and then just do 1, 2, 3, and just do 5 reps. And if the 5 is pretty easy, then go a little bit lower. Same thing, check that you have them strict. You can find out where you are strict, and then just do the whole set of kipping. And just do it in sets of 5, gradually build it down. And that works really, really well. And that builds up slowly but surely your kip without trying to go all the way down. Because that's usually the biggest thing is people try to go way too deep right away, and then they kick up and crash and kick up and crash because they don't have the power to come up, and that's where the danger lies. If you can do it here, it's all lowered on the strict control, and the little kick, it's a very short range of motion, and it develops over time. So that's my preferred method. And then as far as practicing the kip once you got it, my favorite thing to do is, and I suck at handstand push-ups, and so I practice them quite a lot. Because everybody has an Achilles heel. I can just think of running, and I improve running, but however, handstand push-ups has always been my weakness. I still remember the 2010 regionals when I was stuck on the wall for several minutes at a time trying to do the 20 handstand push-up lying, meanwhile everybody else is just racing past, moving on to other stuff, and I'm just there dry humping the wall for about 4.5 minutes out of the 12-minute workout it was. So what I like to do in the mornings when I'm like warming up 2 or 3 days a week, I do this like in sets of 10. So I'll just go here and just go. And so once I do 10, I gotta do my back squat, some pull-ups if I'm doing that, and just lower, lower, lower. And so let's say I haven't warmed up. Then I do this, so let's say right about, say here is for just a warm up. Let me see how hard this will be. So what I'll do is pick up. Let's see if I'll struggle. So let's say this is challenging, and then I'll go and do five kipping. So the way it works is I keep doing it in sets of 10 strict. Bam, 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 knock it out. And then the final set, even if I know I'm not going to get 10 kind of quickly strict, what I do is I'll do, say, 3 or 5 or 7 strict. And then the remainder of 10 I'll just finish kipping. Hopefully this helps. These are pretty easy skills compared to all the other drills, and they pretty much develop automatically if you work on the other stuff diligently. But some specifics, especially on the kipping handstand push-ups, are here. So, great success.